told him, okay, Nick, what I want you to do, what I'm going to suggest you do is whatever money you make from photography, stick in a separate account, like literally never spend it. Just put it in a separate account and just let it sit there because you can live off of your 9-to-5 W-2 income, right? He's like, yeah, it's great. I make good money. I'm like, perfect. Set it to the side. What you're going to do is you're going to watch the demand for your time grow as a photographer the next 3, 4, 5 years. And you're going to have you're going to sock this money away. And eventually when you want to pull the plug on the W-2 and you want to go do this thing full time, you want to go get paid to go to Iceland. You want to get paid to go to the West Coast and take photos. You want to get paid to do all that stuff. You'll have runway because you've got this money socked away and you don't need the W-2 income. And in the end, you'll have done so much work that you'll have this ongoing drip of people that want to hire you. You'll have a instantaneous demand when you tell the world, yeah, I'm done with my normal job. I want to go I'm doing this full time. And it was a 7-minute conversation, 10-minute conversation maybe. And fast forward a bunch of years, he actually did it. And now, like literally, he's built a house up north and he's got a different lifestyle now compared to what he did when we first met. And I'm just like, he says, thank you often to me. And I'm just like, I didn't do it. Like you're the one that had to do it. I'm glad I could give you the idea, but I give a lot of people ideas and it doesn't mean they execute on them all the time. So it's the idea of like, I'm glad it was the right time for you to hear that message so that you could alter your path in a way that you had always dreamed about, but maybe just didn't have the right information to go do.
It's interesting what you said about this. You give people ideas or give people concepts that you know will impact them, but they don't always take action and move on it. So a couple, just themes picking up from your story is that you're genuinely curious, you're jumping in and asking a lot of questions, you're open to the feedback. And like when someone says like, hey, do you know anyone like this? Go read these books. You're then taking action and you're moving on it, right? And those three things coming together has obviously led towards, a lot of getting you to where you are today and your obviously overall story. Man, I wish I knew you when I was going through and quitting, my full-time job.
Is it not true? Is that like, I tell people all the time, like I had debt and no money saved. And I said, I'm going to go be independent. Like it's literally Looney Tunes. But somehow in God's grace, he's continued to put the right work in front of us to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Which I'm so thankful for. But
I was super blessed as well when I quit my full-time job, went right back out to my employer and they were my first customer, right? So I was like, glad that worked out because it's a lot harder.
Everybody, in case you didn't hear that, rewind it and go see if you can do that because you're not the first I've heard do that.
Yeah.
I've probably had 10 plus conversations with people where they're like, no, I'm going to go independent. I'm going to bill back my time against my former employer. Mm-hmm. They have less liability, they get better service, and they have a little bit lower cost, but they still know my skill set and they'll get great work. Mm-hmm. So kudos to you for doing it.
Yeah, and they were a long-term customer too. Yeah, for years building out the company. So
it's awesome.
Now you've talked a little bit about growing up in a little bit of chaos. There's obviously some other stories of chaos. There's probably a little bit of chaos in the condo, with a 5-year-old.
Yes.
So you could thrive under that chaos. It's probably helped you with business development and things like that as well. But there's probably some habits or some strategies around routines and things in your life that have impacted your ability to handle that chaos. Are there any habits or routines that come to mind?
Yeah, I would say, the ones that come to mind are, I think for me is go church, like just the spiritual disciplines are important. Am I perfect at it? No, by no means, right? No, no one is. If anyone ever tells you that they're perfect at their spiritual disciplines, they're lying. So that's an indicator that you probably should be wary of what they're about to say next. But yeah, the idea of just spiritual development and that piece of my life has been very important. And I'm so thankful. Right. And at the same time, and I'd say the second one from a habit perspective is follow-up is one of the biggest keys for me. Right. Somehow someone introduced me probably 17 years ago to Salesforce back in the day before anybody really knew about it. And I've used Salesforce ever since then as a CRM just to be able to free my mind around what I'm doing in the moment. And from a follow-up perspective, I can know what I need to do 2 months from now, but I don't have to think about it between now and then. So from a CRM perspective, just the follow-up, right? I heard someone say on stage once that I photographed that the fortune's in the follow-up. And most people follow up once, and then they don't hear back, and then they're done. And so it's a matter of, for me, that I can tell you for sure, follow-up has been probably the most successful business habit that I've cultivated over the past 20 years. And I'd recommend anybody, I mean, I can't stress it enough that follow-up is key, because in the end, the person that you meet today, they might be your biggest customer 17 years from now. You don't know. So why wouldn't you continue to build a relationship and a network around those relationships or those people that you've met or that you have curiosity about, right? Like you and I today, right? In the end, I remember following you, connecting with you on LinkedIn, seeing your stuff. I'm like, wow, he's got great things to say. And in the end, I got connected with you just because of one of your staff members needing photos, and it pointed me in your direction. And we've been able to talk a few times. We see each other at events. And at the same time, we're here today, right? Just because of that natural curiosity and following up. So I guess it's a lesson in real time, right?
Yeah. And I love your, habit following up, and then you drove it back into a tactic of, if that's not your natural tendency, here's how to do it, right? Because I think some of us know, we need to follow up, we need to do it, but like, it's hard in some scenarios. So creating that process that you put in place with using Salesforce and a CRM and things that help you intentionally do the follow-up. I know I've had to do things like that in my life too, even working with an executive assistant because of some of those scenarios. It's like, okay, these are things that I want to be very intentional about. I know my skill set is not organization in this specific area, right? So I need to put people in my life to help me with that. And that's awesome. Yeah,
the way I think about it, my brain is like, from a computer perspective, right? There's a certain amount of memory in there. So that, right, computers are memory, RAM, and chip speed, right? So it's like I have a limited amount of memory. It's just like I know it's there, but if I can increase like the RAM or like free up the RAM to go and be able to do other things across time, that's what I'm trying to do, right? The idea that if follow-up is key, if it really is key, how do I give myself space to go do all the other projects between now and 2 months from now? But at the same time, 2 months from now, show up fresh and knowing exactly what happened in our last conversation, right? A lot of folks love I know people use Trello, and there's all kinds of apps that you can use for it, but it's a matter of just figuring out what works for you.
Yeah, I love it. Any other tools like that you've?
I mean, I'm a fan of all the Google suite of tools, right? I'm not a Microsoft guy, so I think all the Google stuff that they've got out works really well. But yeah, I've used Salesforce. I know there's a bunch of other CRMs. What else do I use? Email marketing is not dead, just in case no one's told you recently. Like, I don't know if you ever have done email marketing, but the world of, like, I would say that's probably the best drip tool over time that people continue to discount. Everyone wants to go be a TikTok influencer or go viral on Instagram or whatever. I'm like, nope, like, email's where it's at. Because, and don't make it a game of how many, people are going to unsubscribe from you. Make it a game of, you want people to unsubscribe because they don't want to hear from you, and that's absolutely fine. You want the people on your list to want to hear from you, and be thankful that they want to hear from you, because that means you have range in the future of like, nope, you're serving people well. They want to hear from you. Let's keep going.
What are you most excited about for the future?
Man, from a business perspective, or man, what am I excited about? Right. I mean, right now you're catching me in the midst of excitement because I'm rolling out real-time event photography.
Okay.
So the idea, like tomorrow, I'm in Detroit photographing an event with a bunch of people, speakers on stage, and literally as I'm shooting photos, so if I was taking a photo, say your wife was here, right, and it's at an event, and it's like, oh, hey, click, take your photo. Hey, I've got your photos right here. Would you want me to send them to you? And I can literally text them to you or email them to you in real time as soon as I'm done.
Love it.
And so the idea of the time delay, and it comes from a bunch of conversations with clients last fall who said, hey, is there any way we can ever get the photos faster from you? And I was like, well, like tonight, like, no, like in real time, so that we could post them on our social channel, because we're still here at the event, and it's, FOMO, fear of missing out, and we want to show how excited people are. I'm like, well, I can't right now, and so I had 3 conversations, 3 different clients in like 3 weeks. And I'm like, all right, there's something here. So I went on a journey to figure out how to do that. And so I tested in December and January, and we're rolling it out this month. And I'm just super excited to I've watched it enough already to see people are like, wait, what? You have my photos already? Like, yeah, they're edited and ready to go here. They're on your phone. You can download them and share them right now. So the idea of that from an event perspective, or I think about, going to conferences where people are at the event. And then I mean, you go to conferences enough, right? The idea if I could take your photo and you could post that professional image, professional lighting, professional camera, no more bad selfies.
That's the only reason why I take my phone, right? It's like, okay, I got the good picture, but also can you do this?